to talk to you today about an exceptionally rare type of capping breech-loader rifle that you've probably never heard of. It's called a Treeby, and it was patented in 1858 by a builder in England called Thomas Wright Gardner Treeby. Treeby was pitching this idea at the emerging volunteer rifle movement and the government. He demonstrated it along with his chain gun, which was a device that fired a number of cartridges linked on a chain that rotated through the action. And he demonstrated this to the Queen Victoria Rifles at Kilburn, just outside of London, in 1859. Now the rifle itself is a type of bolt action capping breech loader, by which I mean that it's loaded with a combustible cartridge at the breech, but still requires a conventional percussion cap to be fitted in order to make it able to fire. Now, try to show you this. The action has a handle here on the left hand side, sorry. Now what the operator does is you rotate it about 270 degrees and then draw it back, which opens the loading port here in the top. If you can see that. Now the cartridge is then placed into the loading port and pushed forward, and then it's simply a matter of reversing the process, which is pushing the bolt forward and closing it. After that, it's simply a matter of half cock, placed on a conventional musket cap, and then full cock, and you're ready to fire. Now, there's no actual information on the cartridge that this rifle was designed to take. However, it happens to chamber the standard Cartridge and Terry rifle cartridge absolutely perfectly. Now, the Cartridge and Terry was in production for about a year prior to Treeby's rifle coming out. So it would have made good business sense for him to have used an accepted and known functional cartridge like that of the Terry. As such, he uses the same system by which the cartridge, which is a 5.68 bullet, which happens to also have been used in the service rifle at the time, the Patent 53 Enfield, and 2.5 drams or 70 grains of powder, and then there's a lubricated felt wad at the back. It's a bit bright. Upon firing, the wad at the back of the cartridge remains in the chamber and is pushed forward with the next round. Then it is fired out when that round is discharged, going some way towards scrubbing out the bore as it goes. All of the furniture on this rifle is blued iron, and it has a 30-inch barrel, which is 5.77 caliber and rifled with 5 grooves. The twist rate is 1 in 64, which places it midway between the 1 in 48 twist used in the Enfield short rifles and carbines and the 1 in 78 twist used in the long rifles. The rifle in question here has a few interesting refinements. For example, the lock plate is quite finely engraved, and the forestock and the wrist are checkered, and there's also a German silver escutcheon mounted in the wrist. Now, these are somewhat uncharacteristic for a rifle that was squarely pitched at military use at the time. However, Mr. Brian Knapp, author of a fantastic 2-volume set on capping breech loaders, has suggested this may in fact have been Treeby's own personal demonstration rifle. The fact is that this is certainly the only one in private hands, and it's even unclear whether the Royal Armouries has one. There was one on the Royal Armouries Incarnations previous catalogue, but it doesn't appear on their current online catalogue. So this may in fact be unique in the world. The rifle has 3 design flaws that I've picked up. One is the fact that it has no provision for a cleaning or clearing rod. I can only assume that Treeby was going to install one in later versions, or that the intention was to have a segmented one that was carried on the person. The second flaw is the action can actually be fully cocked and fired with it open, which would be disastrous. This is something that its contemporaries, the Cartridge and the Wesley Riches, engineered so that it was impossible to occur with them. The third problem I've picked up is that there's no actual positive locking latch for the bolt, which means that it's, with the slightest pressure it can open up a bit, and it sort of just hangs there, which is a problem when carrying it slung, where it can catch on accoutrements, and when putting it through the various manual arms evolutions that it would need to do in service. So rifle drill. In terms of its action though, it is exquisitely smooth to operate and a real pleasure to do so. And I believe it to be completely safe as well. So there you have it, Treeby's breech-loading rifle. Hope you enjoyed this little talk, and maybe I'll see you again in the future.